Hello, everybody. This is Love from Above by your sibling spirit guides. I'm Maureen, and this is my brother.
This is Brian. Hey, everyone.
Hey, Brian, we're so happy to be here, if you can believe it. On this podcast, we share daily channelings we receive from star beings, ascended masters, mythical beings who really exist, and occasionally our ancestors. And today's topic is wealth or originates within. Brian, this is like, I think, a well-versed topic, but we've got a spin on it because I think now a lot of people know, the information about manifestation and whether it's from Wayne Dyer from 100 years ago, like Neville Goddard. But this is, of course, with the star beings, totally different. We get into mathematical numeric codes and just, I think, interesting information to share with you all. What do you think, Brian?
Yeah, there's some interesting things that come up in this one for sure. So it's not that I understand it all either, but I think it's something I'm looking forward to this discussion.
Yeah. So again, if you are new to listening for these podcasts, we go through our archives and come up with sessions on a related topic. And so our first session is from July 22nd, 2026, discussing money is a tool. Brian, please kick us off.
All right. Now we talk about loving money. This is the subject of many books, articles, podcasts, and social media posts. Money, money, money. Yes, it is wise to be fruitful in ultimate ways to receive the abundance dearly cherished and welcomed into every rightful place. However, we caution you upon an imbalance that can occur when the money becomes the object, not the tool. Meditation is a tool to provide you with a peaceful connection to all beings everywhere. Money is a tool to provide you with a peaceful connection to all beings everywhere, too. Is your money a peaceful connection for you and for other beings? We provide some examples. Perhaps you use money as an opportunity to provide charitable resources. Perhaps you do more to create a beautiful space for you and your family. Perhaps you host your neighbors and friends and family with frequent dinners. Perhaps you use your excess funds to fly off to faraway lands and explore mystical sites which provide you pleasure. When your money causes you stress, worries you, or detracts from your being, then it is no longer a resource. It is a depleted energy source. Watch for this, dear ones. Always view the energy as a gas tank full as opposed to empty. So yeah, that's a great way to look at it. I mean, yeah, I think I've certainly adopted. I don't really worry about anything these days, but I just don't really worry about money. But you can see that if people really focus and stress about that really starts to cause an issue. What's your view on this, Maureen?
Yeah, and I always think of like the magical bank account. I know this is something Louise Hay talks about, and not that I want to encourage like, wasteful spending and then just trusting that the universe will make it all work out. But I do think there is something. I know I've talked with my best friend from high school about this, and you know, and I've experienced this recently too, where you have a lot of expenses, but then you look in your bank account and there's still tons of money. And it's like, okay, how is that possible? So I don't know how it's possible, but yeah, and I know for me, I used to worry about money a lot, and I would get messages all over so many times, and they were like, in this lifetime, you do not have to worry about money. And so I don't know, maybe in future lifetimes I do, but in this lifetime and so finally, after they told me that, maybe 1,000 times, I finally got it. And it's like, okay, do not have to. And I think there's something with you as you age too, you know, that you find comfort in because you've gone through so much. And I take comfort in that too. But yeah, but I'm not quite with you, brother. I still do occasionally worry, or I still do have worries. So I need to improve with that.
Yeah. Well, I mean, you know, it's not that it's just I don't think you're stressing though, like what
No,
they're talking about. That's the key is like, I mean,
right. No, and I don't worry about money. I really don't.
yeah.
But I'll go on to the next one. And this one is so fascinating to me. This is again money's numeric code. So if you're new to listening, my goodness, Brian and I never imagined when we started communicating with Star Beans that their number one subject would be mathematics. But yeah, that's what they wanted to talk about all the time. So this is one from December 16th, 2024 on money's numeric codes. They said, we are angelic forces to reunite the self with the holy. To be one with those that surround you aids in every aspect of the minute details of a human life. To forego our assistance can be done. However, the optimal opportunities arise with the assistance of others. We turn now to the subject of mathematics. There are numbers that are held in higher regard, higher esteem for the multiplicity of their usefulness. Say you have a set of keys, but one key accesses all the others. That is what certain numbers respond to, opening different opportunities in this magnanimous way. The codes are randomly assigned to each individual upon entry into this plane. In this in this way, life does not resemble the hero's journey. Oh, does indeed resemble the hero's journey. You're required to uncover the personal aspects of your numerical journey. Say you walk into a store, a basket is in your arm, you have $3. The pasta is $1. The bread is $2. However, you'd like to purchase a bottle of wine. This requires you to navigate to a different part of the store. Once there, you discover that you have insufficient funds. This requires you to exit the store and begin a new journey to acquire additional funds. The same is true in your life. Say, for example, you want to access a new possibility for your life. Whatever that possibility is, a home, a new relationship, a new car, it requires certain steps to take place. Each of these has an attached numerical value which goes unrecognized in your world. Stacking these numbers provides opportunities for you to leapfrog into new and higher realms. It's like being awakened to the true possibilities of what's around you. The air around you vibrates with cellular activity that is imperceptible to your mind's eye. In the same way, these numeric codes go unnoticed. Should you be required to ascertain their value, much would improve in the empirical quality of your beloved lives. And then I said, I have no idea what you're talking about. And so they said, we shall try again. One moment as we search for an appropriate analogy. Say you come to a new land and your present form of currency is shiny green coins. In this land, the shiny green coins have little value. These people use pink crystals to ascertain and retain wealth. Your shiny green coins hold little value. What we're trying to impart to you is that the shiny green coins in your world are the material wealth with which humans desire to amass. However, beyond this realm, which is limited in its capacity, those shiny green coins have no value. The value is in the numerical codes that you have activated upon your present path. These you can take with you. Now you're getting a better glimpse of what we're discussing. We shall continue. There's much to discuss with regards to mathematics. We wish for you to resume your mathematical queries. There are fruitful journeys to undertake once the basic mathematical principles are understood on a deep cellular level. That is all. We thank you for your time. So yeah, Brian, are you studying your mathematics every day? I will tell you, I do math every day now, but yeah, math is so important in ways that we don't even realize. Like, did you realize you have a numeric code?
No, and I know they said well, if you, I don't know, like if you once you understand that, your life will go better. But they didn't really explain how do you understand what your numerical code is, right? I mean, that's the part I don't get. But same thing. I guess that just this numerical codes go unnoticed, but I'm not sure how to tap into that. I guess they're saying you're studying math and then you get more, but it's strange because I think of like math, the PhDs and stuff. They don't seem, maybe I'm wrong. I don't see a lot of them really attuned into the spiritual side. And it seems like, you know, that's a focus that is sort of needed or to really go deep in some of the stuff. So I don't know. It's like you said, we have to really continue to look into mathematics, but it's something I really don't fully grasp it all either. But I like the second analogy about you can't really retain your wealth, material versus like the eternal wealth thing makes sense to me.
Well, here's what I think the mathematical codes are. So, I see the sacred geometry. There's these
Uh-huh.
planes of sacred geometry, and those are based on numbers, and those change. So, like at night, I might see a different fractal pattern depending on like who's in the room. I don't know. That's my assumption. I have no idea what's going on, but I might see a different fractal pattern that is a normal fractal pattern than I see. But those are based on numbers. And so then it's this whole, and we've read stuff about this. So like if you can see your aura, like I can't remember what book I read, but they were like, say you want a shiny red new car, sports car, like literally that's in your aura, and someone could look at you and be like, oh, you want a shiny new red sports car. But I think that the numeric codes, I think they're represented in these fractal patterns that I see in the sacred geometry. But who knows? But I do think there's something, we are so focused on in our society on material wealth. And as we know, you can't take it with you. You can't take it with you.
Yeah.
But I believe you can take some parts of the wisdom that you've achieved. And I think you can take we've got a lot of messages about this. The bonds of love are unbreakable. So whoever you love in this life, you love for all eternity. I mean, so that's what you're taking with you. But it's fascinating. And Brian, I don't think I think this is unique to the work that we're doing with these wonderful beings who are assistants, because I have not heard of this in any other format. Have you?
No, yeah, that's true. I mean, we listen to a lot of spiritual stuff and it never comes up about the mathematics. I think I've never heard any other source talk about this, which is interesting.
Yeah, yeah. So, do you want to go into the next one, which is about outrageous opportunities abound by tapping into the ultimate source? Yes, sign me up for outrageous opportunities.
Yeah. So this was in January 26th, 2025. There's some news to discuss with your brother and others who choose to listen. We ignoble those who light in the veracity of our wise words. We hail all who acknowledge our unified front. Once you have unified your ultimate source of power with the Almighty, all shall come into fruition. We shall give an example. Imagine you carry an empty purse. The purse is ready to be fulfilled with every treasure, yet the contents remains unsullied, unsatisfied from the contents are drained and continually by the ever-present forces of the unified whole. To augment one's personal wealth, you only need to tap into the Almighty. The source of the Almighty is like a river that bursts forth from a mighty dam. Outrageous opportunities come bursting forth. You shall marvel at the extenuating circumstances that shall elevate all to the heavenly glories. Only through access to these heavenly treasures can one truly be fulfilled. It's like seeking a source of nourishment from a dried riverbed or a barren landscape. The true source of all creation is the one and only. Imagine you were thrust into a heavenly abode with an ever-present supply of anything you wished. There would be no need to exit, no fear, no worries, no actions that needed to be undertaken. The actions you engage with suffice to raise you to this heavenly and delightful abode. This is the future of humanity. See it now, engage with others as this righteousness of this ever-present heavenly abode comes to fruition on the earthly planes. We banish lower vibrations to the sources of darkness and engage only with the ever-present light of the One. You are wise to call upon the heavenly host to assist in every aspect of your devoted life. All right. That's where we're headed, and that's what we can tap into. What do you think, Maureen?
Yeah, I mean, it's a little bit threatening. We banish lower vibrations to the sources of darkness. And I'm glad they said I was wise to call on the heavenly hosts. I call everybody I can to assist. So, yeah, what stands out to you, brother?
Well, it's just like we were talking about. You know, imagine you're in this heavenly abode with ever-present supply of anything you wished. And there's no fear, no worries, nothing, no actions. And that's, that's, I think, where humanity's heading and transitioning to higher dimensions. But I'm looking forward to that. But they're saying that, you know, we should be able to access that here, sort of. So that is that what they're saying too? So
Yeah. And I like to, what are you focus on? And I realized this a number of years ago. I mean, if you study the laws of manifestation and then focus on it, sure, you can bring those things into your life, but it is like seeking the source of nourishment from a dry riverbed. It's not nourishing. It's only by connecting with the one, the all, the almighty, whatever you want to call the ever-present source of all. It's only by connecting that at least for me, I felt like a joy, a peace, a bliss. And so yeah, that's something that I've learned. It's not something I've even, I've learned in my body, it's an absolute truth that I've learned.
yeah,
Yeah, so I'll go into the next one, which is again a focus, the importance of relaxing. This is about relaxing and expanding your focus from June 16, 2025. And again, I'm going to point out if you have not, we're working on volume 2 of our archives, but volume 1 is available on Amazon or wherever you would like to get your books. So if you want to see all of these sessions, we've got the first 6 months of our archives available for sale. But anyway, darling daughter, beloved son, we rush forth to aid those who require our heavenly assistance. These times are trivial in the eyes of many. The greater focus is on the material wealth provided to the individual and his or her well-being. We say, cast aside these primitive notions, knowing that all will be cared for only in the relaxation can one receive what they truly require, whether that be a brilliant idea or a turn in direction of one's own life. We provide an example. As a child, your play space was limited, usually to your own backyard. However, those were not the confines of the exterior world. Right now, humans focus on their own well being, while a host of heavenly brothers and sisters are united with the sole purpose of expanding the ever present love of the one Creator. Lift your eyes so you can see beyond the confines of your own world. Step outside the boundaries of what feels familiar. Invite an unknown neighbor to your house for dinner, exploring their perspectives on life. Take a new exercise class to meet a diverse group of people. Lift your songs of prayer beyond your personal needs to those of the greater whole. you see our meaning. We wish to return to stories of our illustrious past. Many record our deeds in the illustrious pages of your religious books. We need not have praise to feel the elevated presence of the One within our physical frames. We require not, but the assistance of others to unify within the circle of this heavenly abode. We liken the stories that are told by us as fables that have been enhanced and glorified to augment our personal selves. We began much as you are today and continue our path, unifying with the One. Our struggles, our worries, and concerns ease like a chalice with a hole drilled in the bottom. Our worries slipped away, allowing the wholeness of our being to remain filled only with the loving inspiration of our one Creator. So, Brian, who do you think these beings are from our illustrious pages of our religious books?
Yeah, Maureen, I have no idea who those religious beings are, but I love this message, about the releasing tension and, relaxing is this the key and expanding your boundaries. We've heard that before. It's hard. I think too, as you get older, a lot of people I know get really fixed on and don't like trying new things or doing different things. So I think that's a key thing to try and expand your boundaries, try new exercise classes or, try meeting new people and be open to what they have to say. So I definitely try to do that, but I think could always do more in that regard. What resonates with you?
Yeah, well, I'm fascinated by who these beings are from our religious books, but we recently covered in a podcast how, if you're not relaxed, it's like being like an acorn or a buckeye, and nothing can get in there. Like you need the relaxation to open up and to allow the divine beings who are surround you to assist you, or even the energy that you're creating to come in. But if you're just, you're really tightly closed. So relaxation is really, really an important part of this. And I've come to realize this more and more with this process that we're doing with this channeling, because obviously, that's when we channel is when we're super relaxed. I mean, the messages don't come in when, I'm on the phone call with our mother. Do you know what I mean, Brian?
Yeah. Yeah, yeah. So you got that down. And same for me, but I mean it's just good to remember and you know have some gratitude with yourself and don't worry about stuff as much.
And I will ask, you mentioned in a recent podcast, heart math. And, if you're not familiar with that, listeners, that's an app that measures your brain heart coherence. And, now there's all these tools that can help you. Like this morning, I was like, oh, I don't feel as relaxed as I normally do. So I just pulled up heart math. And, it's so wonderful that we do have this technology to be like, oh yeah, let me get my brain and heart into, more coherence. So, it's really nice. So I'm grateful for that. But I'll go on to our closing. This is a true surprise. So your true wealth is not in your bank account. It's not your loved ones that you spend all your time with. It's your energetical force, which you think about it, that's what brings everything together. So this is from August 30th, 2025. It says, the enjoyment of life is the subject of our morning discourse. We begin. How does one access the hallowed halls of Amenti to best enjoy the fruitfulness of the present moment? There are many access points. Each day, the most trodden path is often the most overlooked. The personal wealth of your own magnificent being. By wealth, we mean the richness of your centrifugal self. Oh, darling children of the light, if you could marvel at your own magnificent selves, the energetic condition which you carry forth each day and each night. The magnificent condition of your being is shaped not only by yourself, but by those you encounter and love along the way. You recognize the importance of the stability of your primary relationships. These can cause great harm if not secured foundationally. The inner realms are best accessed through developing your own inner light. This is a diving within to listen to the internal guidance, which can guide you in ultimately the best way. We wonder why this inner guidance system is sometimes dismissed as perversity, nonsense, or made up stories of intuition. It is wise not to cross what you know is the truth. You know of what we speak. Rest, dear one, and we shall hover near. So isn't that interesting? People do dismiss like your intuition. Oh, don't listen to that. That's nonsense. But it's in my case, it's wise fount of wisdom. What do you think, brother?
Yeah, totally. I mean, I've found that, that's the key is tapping into your intuition and that's what I definitely follow. I mean, it took me a long time to get there, but now that I have that, I definitely follow that. The other thing, every almost so many messages talk about this it's like a centrifuge, but centrifugal self, which, is like, I don't know. Yeah, but it's sort of thinking about that and looking into it. And they talk about that. It's always like our energy and like it's sort of vibrating around yourself or something around your body. But they always mention that, and that's another thing that I just don't understand. And but they always mention that it's something that we're not really aware of, but they always mention that. But yeah, this message was really cool about, the importance of the intuition and, the true wealth is internal. So thanks for sharing this one.
Yeah, there's been so many new messages on the centrifugal self. Brian, I actually think at some point we have to we have to do a podcast on the centrifugal self because there really is, and it's just a reminder that you're more than your physical body. You're an emotional body, a spiritual body. I mean, we know this, but and it isn't it beautiful? They can see our whole selves beyond just our physical body. And yeah, Brian, this is funny. I don't know if you listened to this yet. I just channeled this, I think yesterday, or they were talking about how, the scientists focusing on the physical body only is like you being focused on the dirt underneath your fingernail and ignoring the rest of your body. Like, oh,
Yeah.
like,
Yeah.
let me focus on the dirt underneath it. It's like your physical body is just the tip of the iceberg. I mean, we're so much more, but yeah, there's a lot on the centrifugal self. At some point we'll have to do a podcast on the centrifugal self in the future.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah.
All right.
So yeah, so finally we'll just close off for thanking you all to listen. And we also want to thank all of our loving guides and masters who assist us in bringing these podcasts to you. So thank you to all.
All right. Bye, everyone.